Okay, picture this, a place where the sun just disappears for 6 entire months. We're not talking about a few cloudy days, we're talking about a constant, pitch black night. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, for some people, it's very real. So today, we're going to explore how humans face this incredible darkness and how one town decided, nope, and built its very own sun.
I mean, really think about it. Your whole life suddenly ruled by the clock instead of the sun. Waking up in the dark, going to work in the dark, living your life in the dark for half the year. It's a massive challenge, not just for your body, but for your mind. So how in the world do people not just survive this, but actually, thrive?
And here's the wild part. This 6-month night has an equally extreme twin, the 6-month day. It's a real story of two opposites. You've got the midnight sun, where the sun literally never sets. It just circles around in the sky for months. And then, bam, the other shoe drops, and you get the polar night, where it never rises. So how have people possibly adapted to this crazy cycle? So our first stop is a story that is just a perfect example of human ingenuity. It's about a community that looked up at the overwhelming darkness and pretty much said, we're not having it, we're getting our sun back.
So welcome to Rujik in Norway. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. But that beauty comes with a huge catch. The town is set so deep in this valley that the mountains around it act like these giant walls, completely blocking any direct sunlight for 6 long months. We're talking from September all the way to March. The bottom of the valley is just stuck in a shadow.
And you can imagine what that does to a place. For generations, people talked about this sort of collective sadness that would just fall over the town during those dark months. I mean, kids couldn't play outside in the sunshine. Daily life was just draped in this constant gloom. It really affected everyone's spirit.
And what's amazing is the idea to fix this problem isn't new at all. The town's founder actually dreamed of bringing sunlight into the valley way back in 1913. But, the technology just wasn't there yet. So for a whole century, it stayed just that, a dream.
So, how did they finally pull it off? This is so cool. They installed 3 enormous mirrors. They call them the Solspiel, about 500 meters up on the mountainside. Now, these aren't just simple mirrors. A computer system tracks the sun's path, constantly tweaking their angle to reflect a perfect, concentrated beam of light right down into the town square. It is, quite literally, an artificial sun. How incredible is that? Okay, so building a giant sun mirror is one way to handle the darkness. But what if you can't? For our next story, we're heading to a place that doesn't try to fight the dark, but has actually learned to live in harmony with it. This is a story about pure adaptation and resilience. All right, let's go way, way north to Longyearbyen. This is one of the most northern settlements on the entire planet. And here, there are no mountains to blame for the darkness. It's just a fact of life, a fact of geography. For months on end, the sun never gets above the horizon, leaving the town in absolute, complete darkness. So how do you thrive in a place like that? Well, they've got it down to a science. Life runs on the clock, not the sun. Inside their homes, they have special lights that mimic the cycles of day and night. And light therapy is common to help with seasonal depression. But maybe the most important thing is community. Psychologists there say that strong social bonds, getting together for events and festivals, are a vital defense against the isolation of the dark. Life doesn't stop, it just adapts. And as if the endless night wasn't enough, it's also incredibly cold. Temperatures often plummet to minus 20 degrees Celsius, and sometimes even lower. You can't just pop outside. You need specialized thermal gear just to get around. It's a seriously harsh environment.
So we've seen how people cope, but why does this happen in the first place? The science behind the 6-month day and night actually all comes down to one crucial little fact about how our planet sits in space.
The whole reason for this entire phenomenon is actually pretty simple. Earth doesn't spin perfectly upright. It's tilted on its axis by about 23.5 degrees, kind of like a spinning top that's leaning over just a little bit. That tiny tilt is responsible for everything. It's why we have seasons, and it's why the poles get these extreme day and night cycles. So if you're near the equator, that tilt doesn't really change much for you. Day and night are always pretty close to 12 hours each. But at the poles, that's where the tilt's effect goes into overdrive. For 6 months, one pole is tilted towards the sun, which gives it that endless daylight of the midnight sun. Then, as the Earth continues its orbit, that same pole gets tilted away from the sun, plunging it right into the polar night.
So, what can we learn from all this? From a town that builds a sun and another that learns to embrace the darkness? I think both these stories show us something really powerful about our relationship with light itself.
Most of us completely take the rhythm of sunrise and sunset for granted. It just happens. But these stories from the extremes are a great reminder that this balance is a gift. Daylight gives us the energy for work and progress, and the night gives us the quiet we need for rest and reflection. It's the fundamental beat that shapes all of our lives.
And in the end, whether that light comes from an amazing engineered mirror or from the sun finally returning after a long, long polar night, the experience of these communities is a powerful reminder: no darkness is permanent. Light, one way or another, always comes back.
That story about Rjukan, it's so much more than just mirrors on a mountain. It's this incredible testament to human creativity, to our refusal to just accept our limitations. And it makes you wonder, right? If we can solve a problem as fundamental as the sun not showing up, what other impossible challenges are we actually capable of overcoming?